Hey, people, and welcome to another fine episode of Who's That Anime? Uh, and we're continuing with Cowboy Bebop 7
That's right.
and 8.
Yep. Episode
Eh,
7 and 8.
mhm. And
You're Colin. I'm Steve.
I am Colin, and this is Steve. Mixing it up, man, mixing it up.
Yeah.
Not,
Yeah.
not
It's all
forgetting,
good.
not forgetting, mixing it up.
Mixing it up. I will take note that may be the case. Um so let's get this party started. Although I suppose we should say that you did tease at the end of last episode that we would be introducing a new character to the Bebop. You may have got a little bit ahead of yourself.
I may have got a bit ahead of myself on that one, yes.
You may have accidentally watched episode 9 also.
Yes, I was waiting for the new character. And
Soon.
for people who have watched it and realised that I was talking shite, you can make a comment on the video and to say, that's not right.
Yep.
Or
You fucked up.
podcasts.
Yeah.
You don't know
Either
shit.
way. Well, I
Oh,
mean, if it hasn't been explicitly clear until now that we don't neither of us know shit, like you've not been listening well enough.
yes, very true. Yeah.
So
Well,
starting out with episode 7 today.
yes.
Great episode name, Heavy Metal Queen, or in Japanese, and I'm so sorry, Heavy Metaru Queen.
Well, it's not too bad. It's quite English.
Oh, it's very Romaji or Romanized one way or another.
Yeah. So, this episode, we get to meet VT, is it?
Yeah, VT. Some sort of cargo hauler type thing. It all reminded me all a bit of Space Truckers. Remember that
It
film?
was Space Truckers. When did that come out? Was that
Oh man, actually, I was about to say early 2000s, but I
no?
think that film might actually be like the mid 90s.
It was mid-90s. I'm pretty sure I watched it
Oh
on
my,
VHS. That
oh my god. Oh, wait. Who the hell was in Space Truckers?
no one famous, I thought, but I'm lying. There's famous people in it. Is it
Charles Dance, Dennis Hopper. That's who it was.
Dennis Hopper?
Stephen Dorff, George Wendt. What an audience! This is gonna be. That was. I need to watch that again. I
Audience?
haven't watched it in years.
There's a reason you haven't watched
What
it.
cast? Sorry.
There's a reason you haven't watched
I've
it in
I
years.
Probably because I watched it in 1996.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Still,
Oh yeah, that maybe that was a thing. Why?
yeah,
What
yeah.
was
Why?
it?
Why did I?
Why do you want
Was
to
it
watch it?
robots? Was it
Um,
robots or aliens?
I thought it was pirates. I thought it was basically space
Oh,
pirates. Because all I remember is Dennis Hopper. Did he not like
there's
have like
Dennis Hopper.
a robotic dick that from the and that was his comment. That was his
I mean,
joke. He was like fucking everyone with a robot dick.
uh, I mean, I don't remember, but would it shock me to hear that that's true? No, not even close.
Or maybe that's different space truckers I was watching.
I mean, maybe.
I can't see why I'm
Let's.
making a party
Yeah,
of it. Why would they?
I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna comment on what the potential for space truckers porn might be, but I'm sure it would be very easy to figure that out.
I think it's fairly obvious. It's only one letter out.
Agreed. Yep.
Um,
So
and that's
this looks a lot like space truckers sometimes.
uh, Space Truckers. See, one letter out. Space Truckers.
Yeah, that's the one.
Uh,
So we meet VT, who is a cargo hauler, and this has like my favorite, one of my favorite moments in the entire episode. Zero G Cat.
oh yeah, Zero G Cat is like the best cat.
It's just floating forward and grabbing onto stuff. It's pretty great. I was very much enjoying Zero G Cat in this episode. And I think she's, I assume, like wrapping up at the station to head back out. When some other guy's like, "Oh, you're going? Let me have one more shot at this," and he like throw it like comes down off of the ceiling where he's magnetized and throws down 100. What is it? Wulons.
Woolons or something? Yeah, crazy amount of
Yeah.
stack.
And he throws down the 100, and she's like, "Well, okay," and pulls out like a big fat stack of cash. And it's like apparently a game where they try to guess her name or what VT stands for, and he does not get it.
No. Interestingly enough, should mention that the old Rogers from episode 1 are in this episode too.
So they are, because they all collectively guess later on in the episode, don't they?
Yeah. Something that doesn't begin with V or B. Egbert or something.
Yes, they do. It is. It's not. This episode is. Oh man, we're gonna get into this. So, does the episode start off like that?
Yeah. So she comes in.
Yeah.
She's clocking in, going staying, and she's like that, and she gets to a bar and cafe, and it's full of bounty hunters. The whole
That's
station's
right.
mobbed with bounty hunters because they're looking for this one bounty, and they were like,
Yep. His name's Decker.
yeah, and everyone hates him. And the only information they have is he has a dragon tattoo.
Do you know the greatest part about this, of course, is that it's sort of we're introduced to that kind of information where Spike is like, "Hey, this is supposed to be unique information. This place is full of bounty hunters." He's like, "And I am not doing so great. I am very hungover, and I've never seen anyone look that hungover." He's like sat on the toilet floor in a cubicle with his trousers rolled up to his knees. His eyes look like he's been the bags under his eyes make him look like he's been dead for months, and he's just like kind of like, "I really don't want to be here."
Yeah,
it's amazing.
I've been like that.
Oh, I mean, haven't we all?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then he comes out. She's like going, "I hate bounty hunters. A bunch of filthy scum, degenerates type thing." And then he comes out of the toilet and orders an egg and something and some other random hangover gear.
Like an egg Tabasco and pepper.
Something horrifying. They would
the alcohol.
I don't see how it cures hangovers. I mean,
no. Unless it makes you throw up.
I assume it just makes him throw up, but he doesn't throw up because he takes it. Oh no, he doesn't take it.
He does. Well, no, yeah. So there's the point: is that, of course, VT is sat at the bar with Spike, and the waitress Marie, I think her name is basically being objectified by every single male bounty hunter in the entire place. It starts to get a bit rowdy, and VT kind of takes objection to the way she's being treated, and steps in against like one of the groups of bounty hunters.
Yeah, and that's new. And then I think they bounce into Spike and knock over.
Yeah, so she's like, yeah, yeah. No, it's worse than that. The fight is continuing in the bar where VT's kind of dealing with things, and one of the guys just backs into him while he's trying to like sort the egg yolk from the white, and he's like doing it into an ashtray, and then he just looks down at his lap and just sees the egg there. And of course, like, one of the guys is about to like properly clock VT, and he just mysteriously collapses in a heap to the ground. To which is met with the incredibly witty dialogue of, "You made me spill my egg."
yeah,
It's so good. It's
yeah.
so good.
And then the guys switch their attention to Spike. It's like what?
Yep.
And he beats them all up.
And
Well hungover.
he does well hung. He kicks the ever loving shit out of all of them. And VT is extremely thankful and
Mm-hmm.
offers to buy him a drink.
Mm-hmm. But you know, she does make a comment of hating bounty hunters at that point too.
She does. She calls them scum.
Yeah,
Um,
and Spike's just like, oh, okay, I'll not,
yep.
I'm not saying nothing to the thing, and then I think it cuts to Faye, who's in another cafe.
Yeah.
Who's
Meanwhile, Faye, I think, is like a kind of restaurant-y type diner thing, where nobody thinks she's actually going to bump into Decker. And then mysteriously, she sees this big dude with what looks like the
dragon
top of
tattoo.
a dragon tattoo coming out of his shirt.
Mm.
And she's like, trying to sort of entice him a little bit, and then just like properly slides a gun underneath his chin and threatens him.
And it's like, yeah, and he's like,
It's
what?
pretty good. Yeah.
Shit himself.
What, what did I do wrong? And then, of course, he starts shouting at this guy with glasses in the booth behind. Hey, you, glasses, call the police, tell them I've got Decker. And he's like, oh, yeah, right. And then we see that he has a dragon tattoo on his arm. He's just like a little weedy guy.
Yeah.
And he just kind of like clumsily bumps into the door on his way out and just runs past the payphone. Of course, at this point, Faye realizes her mistake as she sees the dragon tattoo in his arm as he's bailing out, and is like, wait a minute, and then just like starts undressing the other guy by ripping his shirt off.
Yeah, and he finds out it's a fucking eel.
It's such a weird line as well, because it's like this derpy face with a love heart on the tail, and he's like, I have a thing for eels.
Yeah.
So of course she then gives chase to this to Decker and loses him in an elevator while she's flying after him. And then meanwhile, we have that causes the call in to Spike. And who kind of is like, oh shit, I gotta go and get this bounty. And VT kind of throws something in his face.
Yeah, I can't remember what.
Yeah, it's like it looked like a credit card type thing or something, but it was like, I'm not paying for your drink. And he's like, oh well. This puts the money down and heads outside. And this leads to what may be one of the greatest moments in the entire series.
Yeah.
Is as Spike is leaving, he realizes that his ship has been totally messed up and vandalized and covered in spray paint and wrecked. And he's like, what the hell? And Maurice like, oh, those guys that you beat up, they did this.
I saw it.
Like, why didn't it? And you saw this? Yep, I saw it. I was here, and you didn't tell me. I'm telling you now.
Yeah.
It's just so brilliantly timed. And of course, then at this point, like VT ends up leaving the bar, and the cat is coming with, and of course she bumps into to Spike, who is now hitchhiking because he has no car, he has no spaceship, no nothing, and the cat seems to be particularly attached to Spike and just kind of claws onto his head.
Yeah, just sits on his head.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
and she's like, well, I guess you can come, you better come with me. And Spike, jokingly says, oh, can my friend come too? I assume meaning the cat, because he'd been a prick about it.
no, I think before
I know
that,
he was meaning Faye. I just
Yeah.
I just like I really wanted it to be he was just being shitty and wanted the cat to come.
it was going anyway.
Yeah.
Should state that Decker's hauling high explosives and blew up Faye's ship.
That's right. Yeah, that's the reason that she needs a lift also.
Mhm.
Of course, VT doesn't know that that's the reason, but Spike does.
Yeah.
That will become important later. So of course they end up. The next scene is basically Faye and Spike yelling at each other at full volume while there's metal music playing in the background.
Oh yeah, because
Uh,
she plays her music at like full
yeah,
volume.
she's the heavy metal queen.
It's like that's a famous tune as well. Do 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 do
Is it?
do.
I
I
didn't
don't know.
recognize it.
Yeah,
It was all right.
I
I
thought it was
enjoyed it.
famous. It sounded like famous.
Eh. Well, either way,
It's
she's
famous.
blaring that high volume,
Mhm.
and Faye asks her to stop it. She's like, "No, no. When in Rome, do as the Romans.
Yeah,
Listen to my fucking music."
yeah. I think
Um,
did Spike not witness like the gambling thing for her name, like in the bar?
uh, is that at that point? Is that when the old men come in?
Maybe when the old men come in when they say some the stupid name.
You know what? You're totally right, because that's when he gets interrupted with the call, and it's that he was about to take part in the game,
Uh huh.
and it's that money that he then he leaves to pay for his drink.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what
Um.
it is.
Aye. So they get taken back to the Bebop,
Yep.
and Jet starts working on their ships.
Yep.
Uh, and then
Well, she kind of goes her own way, right? Like she just then leaves.
yeah, the heavy metal queen VT leaves and goes back and gets another job to go out into space and to Nahal. When one of her fellow truckers phones in to say that some asshole is cut him off or something or stole his truck, and it turns out to be Decker. Uh, and then she goes and like, alright, that's it. Ain't having that, and starts chasing him down.
Yeah, she puts out like I assume what is it can only be because it is very space truckers because they are using like CB radios and call signs and things like that.
Yeah.
And of course, every man in their space truck has just pictures of nude women. Um, and I think she's like, yeah, what is it? She says, did the guy's truck have this picture on the side of it?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, it did. And he's like, well, I'll keep an eye out. And then basically puts the word out, and eventually somebody comes back and is like, well, I haven't met you before, but I've heard I've heard what you're like. So, hey, this guy was around here at this point, and I think she ends up chasing him down basically.
Yeah. Through a minefield, and then she radios the Bebop to tell her that she's got to this guy for some reason, or the Bebop radios them because maybe they hear her going, "Oh, I got him, and he's going through this mine," and wait, that's Decker's truck. Don't do that.
Yeah, she doesn't know. She doesn't know that it's got explosives. That's the problem. He's hauling it. He's hauling high explosives, and uh, Spike's like, "Oh, for God's sake!" Of course, he's washing his clothes at this point. His clothes are basic, and I think is that the one where Faye does Faye have like the mud mask on, the face peel?
Yeah, that's probably about right.
Uh,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
yeah. And then he's like, "Oh, for God's sake!" and jumps into what has been repaired so far of his ship. He doesn't have active weapons.
Yeah.
Um,
Faye
and
doesn't.
Faye does nothing but complain about the state of her ship.
Yeah, even though like it's been like a couple of hours, and from being like a mangled mess, it's back to pretty much pure function.
Yeah, this is a pretty cool bit because of course they then like bail in to help out. And what happens is you've got Decker in one ship,
Mhm.
and the Heavy Metal Queen and the other VT and the other, and they're chasing each other, like you're saying, through this like mining planet. And what does he use? He actually uses one of the explosives and jettisons it out the back of the ship.
Yeah, it just kind
Um,
of. Well, I think he just throws it out the window.
oh no, it's like he plugs it into a thing and fires it.
Oh yeah,
Is
maybe it
that it?
does. Yeah,
I mean, maybe it is just like a waste disposal thing. I guess it doesn't really matter. It manages to get it out the ship from
yeah,
the inside. But what he doesn't mean to do, of course, is that seems to start a chain reaction with some of the mining equipment and causes this series of explosions in the up front of the tunnel. And we can see both of them. This is really cool, actually. Sort of the air brakes on the ships look really cool when they're getting fired. The retro boosters
yeah,
are awesome. And then we kind of see both ships disappear into the explosions as Spike and Faye catch up
yeah,
to find that Decker's a bit fucked.
yeah. I believe he breaks, and then VT goes, "Ah, fuck it, I'm not breaking in time,"
Yeah,
and puts the accelerator on, and she like
yeah,
pushes through past him, and
yeah,
just in time, because
yeah. And he does not make it.
he does not make it. No,
No,
I think
he's not looking so good.
I think he floats by them a while.
Is he not like basically? I thought the top of the ship was just smashed open, and he was like hanging out of it, like
Oh,
all mangled.
yeah, maybe that's what happened.
It's not nice.
Yeah. So
But of course, yeah, they're still in the mining planet at this point,
yeah,
and in need of getting out. So she's the Heavy Metal Queen. She's basically stuck, right? Like her ship is kind of in trouble.
it's no, because they get
Or is it just that she's unconscious?
no, it's her ship. I think her cab gets through the rockfall, but the rest of the truck element of it
Oh,
got
gets
crushed.
trapped. Right.
Where he didn't get through the rockfall, and they were able to save his cargo because they attached that to her cab. I think,
Right. Okay.
if I remember, I watched it a
Okay.
week ago.
I watched it today, and my knowledge is still not that good. But yeah, that essentially they then have to make their way exceptionally slowly because they have these high explosives.
I don't think so. I don't think they just had to kind of hightail out there, but
I
it
don't think
keeps
they're
getting
going very fast because it seems like they're taking their time.
mainly just because I think it keeps all the rock falls and explosions. I think.
Well, yeah, and if they touch the side, they could accidentally create a chain reaction again. And of course,
Yeah.
that is what eventually happens: is that they can see the exit, and it blows up.
Yeah. It caves in on them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they get Faye's, whose ship has claws on it,
Yep.
and Spike's ship, who he sends the capsule bubble thing that he's
Yeah.
rides in.
So there's this whole conversation between VT and Faye. She's like, "You just use the claws and pick the thing out," and he's like, "Oh, there's like purple gas coming out." It's like, "Oh, that's the stabilizer." All right,
Yeah.
okay. It's like, just would you just pick it up and hurry up? Like, worst that can happen is we all die. Oh, great. Easy for you to say. And of course, she then manages to pick it up. And then it's of course the discovery of like, well, how do we use this explosive to free us? Because he tries to use what is left of his weapon systems, and there's basically not enough firepower
Yeah.
to make a difference. And Spike then makes the decision, as you were saying, to like jettison the pod. So he's like, so I'm gonna set this to sets a timer for 60 seconds. It's like, so Faye, put the explosive in here. And it's like, and what are you gonna do? And he's like, I'm gonna do my holding my breath act. And he like puts in some ear guards and
Yeah.
just gets out into space.
Yeah, floats towards the ship and misses.
Yep.
And then
He does.
I think gets in just in time before the explosion happens.
But it's how he gets in that's the best part. Because he like floats by, and then I think there's like a nudge from the ship or an explosion that just pushes him off. Like pushes him off to the side away from, because it's the heavy metal
Yep.
queen is basically like opened the door to let him in,
Mm-hmm.
and he's floating away, and he just pulls out his handgun and starts firing in the opposite direction from the way he's going to push him, and then he eventually like bumps down into the ship and jumps up off of the wing. That's so cool. It's real good. And at this point, Faye manages to put the explosives into the capsule, and it rockets off down the corridor.
Yeah. Yep. And then it goes boom in the rock, and then they get free.
Yep. And they make it out.
Yeah.
And then end of the episode is, I think it's as they're kind of like floating out at the end. Is there like a little locket floating in the air that belongs to VT?
Yeah, because she pulls Spike in, and there's always a tussle, and it floats in the air, and Spike grabs it and had a look, and then they go back, and then it goes. She goes, "Oh, for a bounty hunter, you're all right, Spike." Type thing.
Yeah.
And he says, "Oh, can I try guess your name this time?" First,
Yep.
it comes up, and then he goes, "Is it this?" Which is also, I think, is the name of the cat.
I think it's Valentina Tassista. I can't remember the last name, but
Tashiba, yeah. Yeah, and then he creates, "Oh, who could forget your husband? Greatest bounty hunter there was."
Yeah, that's right. And of course she goes to get hand in the cash, and he just takes out takes out the 100 wulon and says, save the rest for your husband. And she's like, well, it's gonna be a long time because he's dead. And said, no, like, wait, buy him a drink. I'm sure he'll have hangovers and have, in the afterlife.
Because she did also reflect that the only other person he knew that hungover cure was her husband.
That's right. It's something oyster.
Oh yeah, revolting oyster.
Hang on.
Your search for hangover cure is called oysters.
A prairie oyster.
A prairie
That's
oyster.
what it was called.
Oh, Jesus.
Yep, a prairie oyster. Yeah, no thanks.
That's one of them. Give me the book right now.
Yeah.
Thinking about it. That's no.
But I should actually mention. I'm gonna get this now because I want to share a good YouTube channel in relation to drinks. For those of you who like to,
it's not Shotcocks, is it?
It is not. Where is it? Okay, so essentially, it is a YouTube channel, and because we're talking about drinks and we're talking about anime, it is a YouTube channel that the guy is I assume some sort of professional bartender. And what he does is he loves anime, he loves games, and he makes drinks either from or themed around different animes and games.
All right.
And it's an awesome channel. I would absolutely recommend it. He's criminally undersubscribed.
Wow, I don't know, man. Have you tried making any of these drinks?
I have actually.
And how successful?
I'm trying to remember which one it was though. Well, it was a relatively simple one I did.
How drunk were you at the time?
Oh, not that drunk. I just wanted to make a drink. That being said, though, absolutely brilliant channel. It's called The Lion's Lounge on YouTube, and he's only has around 700 subscribers.
700 subscribers.
Yeah. So I've been following him since he had 100 subscribers.
He's getting there. When did he start?
Yeah, I don't know. Is that in the about? Not like a year and a half.
Oh, so he's not been around that long.
No, like I think his content's really good. He's really funny. He's really interesting, and he clearly knows a lot about making drinks. And
Yeah.
also, like he has a good knowledge of anime and games, and his video content's really good. I'd absolutely recommend it. I'll put a link in the show notes as well because I think that's worth it. It just occurred to me that when I was watching this episode today that I should mention that because I think it's really awesome.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Yeah. I've got to say though, we don't support underage drinking though.
No,
If it are these drinks
I can't
alcoholic?
stop you. They are. I can't. Some of them are not. I think, but most of them are.
Yeah.
I can I don't support it, but I can't stop you.
We can't. No. I mean,
We cannot.
unless you're right next to us at the time.
And even then, I might not bother. No, I'm just like being honest.
Good. Good to know that your kids will be alcoholics when they're just 13.
Never said it. I never said that I wouldn't do that to my kids.
Make them alcoholics. That's what they're meant to do to
No,
you.
no, stop them from drinking. I mean, to be fair, living with me is hard. Okay, how do you rate this episode?
It was good. There was good bits in it. There's good funny bits in it. There's good sad bits in it. Some alright action. It's one of those. I don't think it helps towards anything in the story. I'm going to go. I'm going to go 6 from this.
Okay. So you give a 6 to the one about the guy who was young forever.
Yeah, I'd give it a 7 this one, but no, more of 6.
6.
Yeah.
Okay. This is where we differ, Colin. This is where we differ.
Mm-hmm.
This is a 10 all day for me.
A 10.
Yep, this is an absolute 10.
Yeah.
Everything in this episode is perfect.
All right. All right.
All of the characters are really engaging. I don't think you're right. It doesn't like change much about what we know about the overall arc, but it does some more to sort of instill Spike and how good a person he is, kind of deep down. And
Yeah.
The comedic timing in this is fantastic. The action sequences are really good. It was genuinely like a tense segment. The last kind of part of the episode was pretty good.
Uh-huh.
When he misses grabbing onto her hand, I was like, oh shit, that's not good.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know he's not going to die, but it was definitely like, fuck, how's he going to get out of this one? So yeah, like I absolutely loved this episode. I was totally hooked the whole way through.
Nah, it's not. No. Nah, I could have missed this one. It was like easy
Oh
enough to miss.
man, this is all like what was the episode of Haruhi? Shit, what was it called? The Day of Sagittarius.
Oh, which one was that?
That was the one where they had the game competition of making it like that, playing that game against the guys who made it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You gave that a 7, and I gave that a 10.
You gave that a 10 as well, did you?
I gave that a 10.
Oh, well.
I generally, particularly in anime, particularly because there's not that many episodes, love it when they kind of progress the main storyline and the main arcs. That's like key to things. But every now and then, I feel like almost every anime has that one episode that is the sort of case of the week or filler episode that doesn't really move the needle too much, that just hits home everything that's good about the show.
Yeah.
It portrays the characters in the right light. It uses the right. In this instance, it portrayed the character in the right light. It had excellent comedic timing. It had fantastic action sequences. Introduced new and interesting characters. Had older like side characters coming back. Just the only thing I suppose that's interesting about it is that Jet doesn't feature particularly much in it. He's more just grumbling about fixing the ships for periods of time.
That's what Jet does.
It is what he does.
Now we talked about this one, and there was something I remember. Did we ever talk about the bit where in. Faye comes into the ship, and Spike's like, what are you doing here?" type thing. "Go away!" And then he gets really upset with her, and then Faye gets like a bit miffed with it. It's like, "Oh, don't worry, Faye. I got a little present for you," says Jet, and she hands him an itemized bill. Did we ever talk about that last week?
I
And
don't
uh,
think we did.
and then she goes, "Well, what's this? It's a
Oh shit, that's right.
it's an
Yes, I do remember that.
itemized bill for all the food and shit." Because was that last week? There was some at some point. It's one of the episodes where she's like basically eating dog food at the start of it, saying, "Oh,
Oh, that's right. She eats per Ein's food in
yeah,"
front of him.
right in front of him, because he's like, "Oh yeah, food." It's like,
I
that's the only thing in the fridge. The girl's got to be pampered. You got to work. You got to hunt. You're a hunting dog.
I think that might be episode 6, Sympathy for the Devil, because that is quite a good bit. Because the thing is the episode before that is the Ballad of Fallen Angels, which is the one with Vicious in it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it
and
was.
that's got the good stuff in that as well.
Yeah, and
But
then
yeah, I think that's an easy 10, that episode.
yeah, that's fair.
Okay,
I don't know.
this is interesting. This is interesting. We were kind of in lockstep for a while,
No, we
and
weren't.
this is the first major deviation.
I suppose. I mean, it's a good 4 point difference this time.
Yeah, that's the most we have deviated previously is 1 point.
Well, except from that one that you said they gave it a 10, I gave it a 7. And her,
Oh well, that was I mean for this series.
for Cowboy Bebop.
Uh, yes. There's like I think that might be. I'm looking back through our score lists
Mhm.
because data's fun. Um, and I don't think. Hang on. No, we have never had that level of difference.
Never had that level of difference. I don't know. Like you say, this episode kind of. It was.
That being said, I do find it interesting that it is almost the exact same kind of episode as the Day of Sagittarius, and that is probably also the previous champion of the biggest difference between us.
Yeah, probably. So, what about second episode of Golden Boy?
Uh 2 point difference.
Only two. I went 4, you went 2.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
Did not like that episode.
that's the lowest scoring episode.
I think that might be, other than Endless 8 Part 8, which I gave a 2.
Even Ghost
And
Stories.
I did Ghost Stories ever get a 2?
I don't think it did.
Yeah, it did.
Did
For
it?
me, it did. Twice.
Ah,
The Talking Mary Doll.
wait.
That's a terrible episode.
You like that
And
one?
the
Another
Headless
one.
Horseman Curse of Death.
Say, isn't that like the one where she's on about like she's got to give up smoking? The
It
talking Mary
is.
doll.
That's the only reason I think I gave it a 2.
One reason it went that high, and that also not the
Yeah,
one
the episode.
where he had where what's his name jumps through a window. One to find out he didn't need to jump through the window and kill himself because it was resolved by that time.
Oh shit, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's pretty dumb. Um, I think the highest I ever went for Ghost Stories was a 6,
Yeah, well, that's understandable. It was shite.
and so did you.
Yeah,
That was the highest you ever went. Although I think the one episode we agreed on that got a 6 was the tunnel with no exit, which actually is not a bad episode of Ghost Stories.
is that the one with was that the taxi driver one?
The taxi driver one. That's a good episode.
Uh,
Relatively. A
where
relatively good episode.
where he goes and getting horrors and Mandy or something like that. I can't
Yeah.
remember.
It's pretty
Cindy.
good. Anyway, we should move on. So, episode 8 is called Waltz for Venus.
Wow.
Oh god, here we go. In Japanese, it is Warutsu fo it's FOO with a line above it. Vinasu. There you go.
For
Done.
Venusu.
Yep, I
Oh.
did it. So this episode starts off in, I think, what I can only describe as, is it like a space train or space like a,
It's an airplane.
you know what
It's
I mean?
basically they were getting a flight to Venus.
Yeah,
And
it just made me think of Astro Train from Transformers. That was all.
they didn't put anyone out the side of them. It's like, oh, I need to stay in some way.
No,
Wait, I still
no. That's true.
function.
Want to bet?
Punk. Oh, well.
Oh man, I am really. You know what? Actually, we should absolutely do Transformers the movie for a palate cleanser.
Oh, God. Yeah.
It
Well,
will be. It will no doubt be the longest episode we've ever done.
oh, Jesus. It's only like an, what, an hour and 20 minutes?
It is 86 minutes long.
86 minutes long. So, yeah, an hour and 25 minutes. That's including the trailer credits, which is 5 minutes.
Yep. Yep, probably. But I'm just thinking, our Haruhi disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya, that episode was split into 2, and I think that came in at a combined 3 hours and 20 minutes. We talked about that.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, that was a nearly 3-hour long film.
Yeah, so we were pretty much doing minute to minute. Been
Some good stuff.
Been thinking of doing something for the videos where I kind of put a blurred copy of the episode behind us. Nice. No sound, but
no, can't do that. So anyway, so we're in this Astro Train in quotations, and they're, as you say, they're heading to Venus, and a bunch of people's watches all go off at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And they all look down into their bags, and there are big heavy guns in them.
Yeah, just this is also shown exactly before the time of 9/11.
Well, actually, this episode was shown after 9/11.
In America.
Yep.
In Japan, though.
In Japan, it was before. But I find it interesting because there are notes in the Wikipedia page that highlight that episodes were cancelled and not aired because of 9/11. Oh. This is probably one of those.
I would say so.
Episode 8 was originally going to air on September 24th, 2001. But it was pulled because of the September 11th attacks. Episode 22 was going to air on November 12th and didn't. So yeah, like a lot of them. Oh, that's super weird, actually. Episode 22 was also pushed back and shown in February 2002 instead. And the notation on it says episode 22 was originally going to air on November 12th, 2001 in the United States, but it was pulled from broadcast in the wake of September 11th attacks. The episode was also originally scheduled to air on February 11th, 2002, but network programmers had misplaced the episode tape and was forced to rebroadcast another episode at the last minute. So it doesn't sound like that was ever aired then.
No, originally. Be aired by now.
Hang on. Oh, they managed to air it 4 days later. That's unreal. Imagine losing the tape.
Oh, better put that in a safe place because we can't hear it. I wonder what that one's about. 22.
I don't want to say because I don't want to read it. I don't want
we'll
to spoil
we'll
it.
we'll get there.
We will.
In a few weeks.
We will. And of course, as we were saying, so these guys, they pick up guns and they shoot out one of the screens and then start kind of threatening the crowd. Some guy who's clearly rich is like, just take some money and like let me leave, and then fuck everyone else.
Yeah, very much.
he gets a good pistol whipping.
Yeah, and then there's kind of zones into this guy who's sitting in front of Spike, uh, holding a bag with a object
Yep.
in it. You don't see what's in it.
Yep.
It's like, oh shit, no, it can't be happening. Type thing. He's getting really worried that this is happening, and
Yep.
and then they go to him and go, "You're there." I was like, "Everyone, put your hands in your head or something like that."
Because he's wearing a sleeping mask and is not paying any attention to what's going on.
Yeah, this is Spike.
It's so good.
At least
And
that's
yeah,
that's the
guy
trail
gets
he's doing
up in
anyway.
his face, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Guy gets up in his face and is like, "Hey, come on!"
Wake
And
up.
then stands up and like accidentally headbutts him.
Well,
Well,
or so it
accidentally
seems.
headbutts him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other like knocks the guy clean out, and the other guy comes running along going, "Hey, what the hell's going on here?" And
Yeah.
chaos ensues.
And then he has a fight with him. And then Faye's also on the plane ship or
Yep,
whatever. And
Astro
Gas
Train.
Astral Train on Astral Train. And Gas is
Yep.
the woman that's with him. Who's at the other side is about
Just
to shoot at Spike.
That's right. She knocks her out. But
Yeah.
is there a bit in this where she puts the gun inside someone's mouth, or was that in the previous episode and we didn't talk about that? I'm sure there's legitimately a point where she literally has like, is she not sitting next to somebody in the
No,
vehicle that is one of the people? No.
no, I think that's later in the episode, if I remember.
Okay, that's fine.
Because this is just like
I
the
just remember she puts the gun in the mouth in someone's mouth.
yeah. No, this is the
Just
precursor.
heavily invasive. Oh wait, you know what? I remembered when it is.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Okay.
She totally does do that though.
Yeah, yeah. um, it's this the precursor. This is like not even into the episode. This kind of introduce
Yeah,
this guy and
this is still the intro.
his package that he's got.
Yeah.
So they save the thing, capture their bounties because they're all wanted people. And actually get money, actually get their bounty this time. I think this is the first time they actually
do.
got bounty
From the fancy machine.
from the fancy machine. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then Faye goes and gambles it all.
Well, she wants her cut.
Yeah, she comes to get.
And
"Where's
he's
my
like, that's
cut?"
all you're getting. And she's like, I know. And what is it he says? Like, using, what is it? And you're just going to go and gamble it all away, right? And she's like, more fun than putting it in a bank.
Something like that. Yeah. Also, kids, if you do listen to this, you spend your money wisely. Don't be gambling it
Yes.
away in banks. It's bad
We don't approve of gambling.
in banks.
I don't approve of banks. Fuck banks. The only gambling I ever do, I've been to a casino maybe 5 times in my life, and every time I sit and do the same thing, which is I play either electronic blackjack or electronic roulette.
Just the puggies then, essentially.
Well, no, it's much better than that. It's sort of a live feed of the blackjack table or the roulette table.
All
So
right.
you're taking part in the games that you can't sit down at the table at or don't want to, in my case.
Okay. Yeah, I've been to a couple. I went to Las Vegas, played puggies, lost horrendously.
Oh dear.
And the local casino here, where Yeah.
Been to both of those local casinos. The one that is no longer there, and also the new one that replaced it.
No, I never went to the old one. I only went to the new one.
Oh man. Well,
That was
I
a
went to.
that was a good night. That was a night where we were drinking in the doghouse or Duke's, which is right behind the
Uh-huh.
casino.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
my
Yep.
mate, my mate came up from Glasgow. I was staying over, and he was talking to this other boy who's wasted, and he was like trying to convince him that he'll drive him to the casino,
Oh.
and I was like, "The fuck are you talking about, dude? It's literally right behind us, and there's nowhere to park." So at the end of the when we get kicked out of the pub, which has got a 2 o'clock closing at this time, we go.
Uh-huh.
It's like, oh, he's just going to get his car. It's like, and it's wailing out the car park for the casino and the travel lodge. Coming around the corner and instantaneously getting pulled over by the cops because they were at the fucking door of the pub. And I was like, I ain't getting in that. and
Well, no, because
and
that
then
guy, that guy's lost his license and probably went to jail.
uh, yeah, he got really upset with me when I was like, I ain't getting in car, Ian. We're not doing this.
No. Fuck that, man.
Fucking idiot. Anyway, so we just went,
Don't
oh,
drink and drive, kids.
oh yeah, 'cause it's not fun. It's not fun at all.
We're just full of sage wisdom today.
Yeah. And we just went like, nope. I was like, so like, how you get to the casino? Oh, just through this gate. Literally takes you into the car
turn
park.
turn right at the exit to the pub, walk a little bit, and then turn right.
Yeah.
And the door is not far from there.
It's literally there was a gate into the car park at the side of the pub, so you can get walked into the. And it literally took us
Jesus.
a minute to walk to this casino. It's fucking
I
getting a lift
remember
for.
being in the Riverboat Casino in Glasgow, and a friend of mine who'd disappeared for a period of time came back and went, "I won!" and had like, I don't know, like £500 in 20s. It's like, holy shit! It's like he won, and he's cashed out. It's like, oh, awesome! It's like, well, we're just gonna play for a little bit more, and then he disappeared again, and came back, and it was like, all gone. And you're like, oh my god! It's like, well, easy come, easy go.
That's what happens in the casinos, kids.
Fuck.
Yeah. Anyway, that was an interesting night.
So they of course get their bounty money, and this guy who was the guy who was holding the mysterious object on the Astro train sees Spike, and he's like, oh, hang on a second, and then just pulls a knife and just like runs up to stab him in the back.
Oh yeah, and then
It's
Spike
like, what the fuck, man?
he deflects him.
Yeah. And he lies on the ground. He's like, oh, you are amazing. And it's like, well, hang on. There was easier ways to know that than maybe accidentally stabbing someone, right?
Yeah.
No?
No.
Jeez.
Yeah. Good old
Crazy
Spike.
bastard.
And then he was like, "You must teach me your ways, Sensei."
Yeah, he's calling him Master and Sensei. His name is, we find out later, but his name, I don't know if he actually tells him his name outright here. I think he might do, actually. His name's Rocco.
Yeah.
And Spike really doesn't want anything to do with him. He's
Yeah.
trying to avoid him at all costs. And Rocco's following him, and he's just about to get into an elevator. Spike gets into it, it closes, and he's like, oh. And then, of course, Spike's like, geez, that guy, so annoying. And then the doors open, and here's Rocco sweating and panting because he's ran up the stairs after him. Just like, teach me what you want. And of course, at this point, these other mob guys appear.
Mm-hmm.
And Rocco's like, oh, hey, take this thing, please, and then meet me at, this time here later. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just leaves him.
Yeah. just before that though, he did send a. He's at the post office or the postal place to send a package, and he sends a package.
Oh, that's right. That's what just before he sees Spike, right?
Yeah,
He yeah, he's at the thing and he's like, "How much is that to send that?" And he's like, "Oh, 500 boulons." And he's like, "What the fuck? How can it be that much?" And he's like, "Well, it's really out the way in the middle of the desert is kind of how much it'll cost." And then eventually, like when he sees Spike leaving, he just like slams the money on top of the package and grabs the guy by the neck and he's like, "This better get there."
yeah, yeah. And I think Spike returns to the ship with his money and stuff.
And the package.
Oh yeah, and then they have a quick look at it because at this point
Uh,
Jet's already organising the next hit for them.
yep. Yeah, well, he says, I think he refers to it as, now that we've been paid, maybe we could make a little bit of spending money while we're waiting on Fate at the casino.
Yeah.
And it pops up with pictures of the guys that were not only that were chasing Rocco,
Mhm.
but also a picture of Rocco, who
Yeah,
has a bounty of 100,000 Wulon.
because they stole a flower.
Yes, it's a very valuable plant, a valuable and rare plant. Um, and they want to know where the fuck it is. Because I think what is it, they go for like 100 million Wulong a plant.
Yeah, it's
And as I understand it, the reasoning behind that we find out is because it's medicine. It's used in some sort of medicine for some sort of Venusian sickness.
yeah, Venus sickness or something. Um, yeah,
Oh, we missed the bit where Spike talks in a high voice. Shit.
we did, we missed that. That's basically because obviously, is it helium? The atmosphere in
Yeah,
Venus is helium.
Venus has a lot of helium in its atmosphere. Yeah,
Yeah,
and Rocco's like, "Here, take this, and it'll make it better." And he's like, "That's much better." And he's like, "God damn it!" And gets really angry. He's like, that was just a cough drop."
yeah, yeah. You got to teach me. I'll give you the right stuff if you teach me.
He's such a jerk. I love him.
Yeah. Um. Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Uh. And then that's where I think the monsters get to him, and then he runs away.
yeah.
Um. And gets
I think
spiked.
we catch up. We catch up at that point though, to where they've caught him though, right?
Uh.
Is that where they
Yeah.
catch him in the bathroom, or do we go looking for the other location that he mentioned, which is the
He.
abandoned thing, the abandoned ship?
Two
I don't
things.
think it matters like which
I.
which happens first, but
I think he gets away first, right?
yeah,
They get to know that he's a bounty thing, and they
yep,
find out that he's got the plant, and it
yep,
has the seeds of it cures the Phoenician sickness, which
yep,
basically is due to there's these plants in the air or something that rain down pollen, and
yep.
certain people get affected by it. And then
Yes, that's right.
I think Spike finds out that there's a location where he resides in on Venus normally, and he goes there and finds out that his sister is there, who's blind.
Rocco's sister.
Yeah, Rocco's
Yeah,
sister's
she's
there.
blind.
And she was like, or she kind of goes, "Who's there?" Type thing, holding a gun, and then she stands into the light, and Spike realizes that she's blind.
Yep,
I'm a friend of your brother's Rocco. Oh, I'm a friend of Rocco's. Oh, I'm his sister. Type thing. Blah
yep,
blah. How's he getting on?
yep.
He hangs around with the wrong crowd. Type thing.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. And then he says, "Oh, he sent me this package," and she's got the package that got sent into the middle of the desert.
That's right.
This is a music box,
Yep,
and then Spike finds seeds hidden in the music box,
that's right. Yep.
and then
Each of the seeds, I think, goes for is it 8 million Wulon or something like that?
something ridiculous, yeah.
Yeah.
So he takes the seeds. Spike takes the seeds at that point, I think,
Yep.
and then goes and meets Rocco,
Well, no. First he has a conversation with Spike because with
yeah.
Jet, because he's like, say someone had seeds from this plant. How much do you think they would be worth? And he like obviously tells him it's like, oh, about 8 million per seed. And he's like, why? Did you find some? No.
No, that'd be crazy.
No. What would make you say that? And yeah, then he decides to. I think at that point Faye has returned. I think.
Mhm. Yes, he's returned broke.
Yep, no money, and they talk about because she's like, just keep the plant, screw the rest of it. He's like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah, the plant's more is worth more than the bounty of those guys.
Yeah, but again, this kind of goes to show the people that Jet and Spike are, is that they know that the plant is useful in a good way, and it's not really fair to hold that ransom. And obviously the other thing is the item is really hot and difficult to sell, which doesn't make that any easier. Although to be honest, even like I know it doesn't explicitly say that they're trying to be good about it, but it feels like the item being hot is not the real reason. It's just like the thing he says to get her off his back about it.
Yeah, yeah. So I think he then goes and meets Rocco again, and this is actually
Yeah, he
just
does.
to just uh, teach him some moves and say, "Oh, I met your sister" and all
Yeah, that's right.
that.
Because he says, what is it? He says to him, you're too rigid all the time. He's like, you need to be more like water.
Yeah,
And of course, he still can't do anything.
yeah, and then they leave at that point, I think, and then he gets accosted by the mafia at that point. The whole gang meets
Yeah,
him.
they is that where they get him in the bathroom and like put the cigar out in his head and stuff?
Yeah,
Or is that
yeah,
before? Or is that's at that point?
I think it's that point. Yeah,
Yeah, because they kick the shit out of him because he's being cheeky shit.
yeah,
And yeah, he's like, where's the plan? He's like, would you believe I lost it? And just yeah, just like that's obviously not what happened.
He's not the brightest Rocco. Anyway,
Oh, I don't know. It feels more tongue in cheek than stupidity.
no, I know. Uh, so anyway, they forced to meet Spike again,
Yep.
and he gets the plant back, and then there's a big shootout happens. But where's the point where Frey puts the gun in the guy's mouth?
Now she's asking for somebody's name. She walks into a place and says, "Do we know where this is?" And all of the guys are, ogling and sort of making some gross noises. And she then does she not like they all like pull guns out and she shoots them all out of their hands, and then puts the puts the gun in the guy's mouth or something like that, and eventually like it's like, so does the name sound familiar now? And the guy's like, well, yeah. I just can't remember whose name it is that she's trying to get.
The head honcho, the mob
It
boss.
is the head, right? And yeah,
Yeah.
that's where they get the location for to find what's happened, I suppose, or where the trade offs or the handover is supposed to happen or something like that.
Yeah. And then
Because Spike he comes over to Spike and like Rocco holds the gun up to him like holy shit, and is that the bit where he mentions like whatever it is, and he's like you need to get out of here or they're gonna kill you.
I think so.
And then there's like all the guys are holding up all the guns. Rocco pulls the gun out of the way as Spike manages to run and like duck behind some pillars. Like we see Rocco kind of trying to do the right thing, Like, because the whole thing is, of course, like you say, is that he's trying to use this plant to uh, get money to pay for his sister's treatment, because these plants are so rare that it costs a fortune for treatment.
Yeah.
And she's been blind her whole life, I think, is the whole thing here. Like, she's been impacted by these spores ever since she was born.
Yeah.
Um,
You certainly don't
and
learn that until later.
oh, well, but we kind of infer that anyway, I think.
Um, there's a part that she doesn't know his brother's face, but she never says that she's has never seen it until
I guess
the end.
I just assumed she'd. I guess I just assumed she'd been blind always because, well, you're in the planet's atmosphere, right? So it's going to be a problem if you're one of those that's affected.
Yeah. Aye.
But then we're in the middle of this sort of big shootout, and Rocco eventually sort of like does some sort of good maneuver on somebody. He's like water, and he gets a cool thumbs up from
Spike.
Spike. And just as he's about to, just as he receives that thumbs up, he gets shot right through center mass from the back.
Yeah.
It's super harsh.
Yeah. And he drops the plant and everything, and it smashes and withers away instantaneously.
Yep. And it withers away. Yep. And of course the mob boss is not super happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely gasped at him being shot.
I kind of knew that he was going to get shot because
Well, yeah, you've seen it before.
I've seen it before, and I've seen other things where it's been clipped into.
But it's like genuine. It was a genuine shock to me because it didn't seem like that was the way the tone of the episode was going.
Yeah.
And of course, at this point, Spike is in shock because I think he's like, as Rocco's mission has kind of become clear to Spike. Spike has really started to kind of sympathize with him and actually kind of care about what he's doing and kind of feel sorry for him more than anything else. Like, understands what it's like to get, like, find your way in a group of people who are not what's good for you while you're trying to maybe do something good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like, there's this sort of understanding from Spike's perspective, and then yeah, he's pretty upset when Rocco gets shot, and then Faye arrives in her ship and holds a very large gun to the mob boss's face. Like, if it were to fire, would just detonate his entire body.
Yeah, he would certainly not feel it.
No, he would be dead before understanding what had happened with a gun that size. So, but yeah, it was it's a bit of a bummer, that whole bit.
Yeah.
Didn't like it much.
Yeah.
And then Spike runs out to him, and the first thing he says is, "Hey, master, did you see? I was like water."
Oh,
he's like,
man.
It's so harsh. And then he's like, "Shut up. Just, stop talking.
Yeah.
Stop talking and don't die. I'm going to get a doctor here any second."
Yeah.
And he kind of, I can't remember what it is like, as he says, as he's like, oh, he says, Spike runs away to find someone to treat him. And he says, I've wondered since we've met if I'd met you before, if we'd have been friends.
Yeah.
And then just dies.
The classic line.
Oh man, it's so harsh. I did not like it.
It's a classic line.
It is a classic line, but it is very upsetting.
It was very. It works.
But so I think that's a kind of to the credit of the show again, as they've introduced a character, and in less than 20 minutes, I've gone from finding him annoying to sympathizing for him to caring about the fact that he died.
Mm-hmm.
That's like well written.
It's a well written anime.
And the dub. That to be clear as well, that's the dub. That's not just the original Japanese voice acting. They've managed to do it effectively in the dub as well. And actually, we should have probably mentioned that generally about, I think, everything. So I think we did probably mention quite a bit about it in the Ballad of Fallen Angels. Like I think the dubbing is superb.
Yeah, we definitely mentioned it in the first episode that we were watching the dub. I mean, to be honest, Cowboy Bebop, there was fans, I believe, were you got the starts of like it's got to be in the original language and stuff like that. But then you're reading subtitles which are loosely translated. Unless you
Yeah,
truly understand Japanese, you're not really going to get the full experience in that. But
yeah,
and it's a lot easier
agreed.
to watch it in dub for us because you can pay attention to more of the action. But
I don't mind reading subs. Like I'm not averse
oh,
to it, but
oh, I'm not either.
I think the thing is I often like to lie down and watch stuff, and reading when you're lying down is awkward.
Yeah, I don't really like the reading lying down. That's why I don't read because I never stand up.
So Rocco, we kind of see him take what is presumably his last breath after his kind of uh, contemplation of whether he and Spike would have been friends if they'd met longer ago. And the next scene is Rocco's sister in the hospital,
Yep, she's able to
and
see again.
Spike coming. Yeah, well, not yet. She's not.
Oh, she's not got the
She's
operation yet.
getting the treatment. Yeah, she's not. She's getting the treatment, but it's not. I don't think it's taken effect yet because Spike comes in, and she asks if it's Rocco, and he says no, it's me.
You're right, yeah.
And she's like, oh, I want. I'm gonna get my treatment. He got the money. I'm so happy. I want the first person I see to be Rocco. Can you make sure that he comes? And of course, he's just kind of dead silent. And she says, "What is it?" She says, "Oh, is he in jail?" And he just doesn't say anything. And she asks, she says, "Is he dead?" And he doesn't say anything again. But she like touches his face and just kind of obviously gets the answer from his facial expression.
Yeah, yeah,
Because she's like, "Oh, I see."
yeah. Always knew you fell with the wrong crowd type thing.
Yeah. Oh,
And then she
it's so
states,
terrible.
yeah, then she states that she's never actually seen his face. I wanted to see his
Yeah.
face. Well, it really goes downhill at that point.
Well, I think
And
Spike says, you know his face better than anyone. Like, I think the implication is, maybe partially like, you've felt his face before, but also like sort of face being a bit of a metaphor for the measure of the person.
yeah,
So I don't know. It like it's a sad episode.
one of the sadder ones. It
Yeah.
is. It certainly is.
Uh,
And then I think that's it. She asked him if he could visit
yep.
again, but I think he just walked out.
Yeah. For a while, she's like trying to get him to leave. He's like, "You best go now." And then that kind of changes. So what do you think of this one?
I liked it. It's, I've heard this one over the last one.
Oh wait, sorry. The end of the episode is Spike walking through the streets, and he sees the spores falling.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And I think the last thing is her stood at the window, watching the spores fall.
Yeah, she's in her bed.
Yeah,
Nerf, which is out the window.
it's good.
Yeah, I like it. It sets tone well in this one. I feel.
Okay.
Uh, it's got like a nice. It's got a good storyline, action, funny bits.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the usualness. The more endearing characters in this one, I thought, than the last one. To be honest, I actually feel the loss of the character. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's all good. So I'm going to give it. I don't know. 8. I enjoyed it, and also
Okay.
didn't enjoy it.
Enjoyed not enjoying it.
Yeah, enjoyed not
Uh,
enjoying it.
I was very close to giving it a 10,
Yeah.
but I I think I'm gonna go with a 9. Um, I don't think it really falls down in any particular respect. I think there's parts of the story there are parts of the episode that are a bit weaker. Like it kind of yeah, it trails a bit in certain places. But the rest of it's just fantastic. Like you say, like amazing characterization, really like good humor at points as well, and I think a very captivating storyline, like quite traditional related story again, but
Mhm.
and as we just said, like the idea that you could make people care about a character in less than 20 minutes to me is quite impressive. Like particularly since you introduce them and they're being a jerk and they're annoying and they have the whole turn like very quick.
I mean, sort of annoying. They don't introduce him as
Well,
annoying.
I mean, he's not very nice. He's not very nice to the male guy.
Well, he's overcharging him.
He grabs him by the neck.
So you just want to try to grab all mailmen by the neck.
No, my mailman's all right.
Your mailman's all right.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate that where I am, like most of the delivery people are pretty good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. They're all like
Yeah,
nice, easy, long journeys for them.
yeah. It's mostly through the back roads and stuff like that for like tons of little places. So it's probably much more fun than the big city.
Yeah, yeah, it's certainly more relaxing to go out that way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, that's us. 2 episodes down. Next week, moving on to episodes 9 and 10.
yeah,
And actually a new character.
an actual new character.
Cool, cool.
Pretty sure
Um,
they're in the intro, but yeah.
yeah. So, as usual, you've been listening to Who's That Anime, an anime podcast. You would like to listen to us, which you're already doing, but you can find us at anchor.fm/ Who's That Anime. And there you'll find the RSS feed, the links to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Overcast. It's all in there. Anywhere where podcasts can be listened to, we are available. We also have a Facebook page. It's facebook.com/ Who's That Anime. We usually post in there when new episodes are coming out or just some memes, some fun stuff. Just for bits and pieces. We have a YouTube account where we are slowly but surely uploading video versions of these episodes. Those will be coming more in the future. They are a bit time consuming, and we do this in our free time, which is less free than it used to be.
Definitely.
We yeah. Colin likes to play video games at www.twitch.tv/couchfuel. You've been most recently been playing
Sable, man. Oh, that's pretty much
Sable.
been playing once. I played it once
Yeah,
a month ago.
we're in between setups at the minute due to some personal things. So
We are.
streaming is not as easy as it used to be.
You might have noticed
I
if you're watching the video, it's a different background for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's right.
That Pac-Man picture. I'll do that.
Yeah.
That didn't work either.
Yeah, I like it when you did that and it just hid the Pac-Man picture entirely.
Yeah.
I've had the same background ever since we started this. Sometimes messier, sometimes not. I also like to play video games, sometimes at www.twitch.tv/hailpayman. For both of these Twitch accounts, you can find their archives on YouTube. If you look for Couch Fuel on YouTube, you'll find that there. And if you look for Hail Payment on YouTube, you'll find that there also. We don't ask any money for this show.
Well, give us money.
Don't ask anything for this show. But give us money. No, don't do that.
No, we're good. We're
but
good.
One thing that would be awesome is if you wouldn't mind leaving a review. Any criticism is always welcome. Any star rating, anything you want to leave, all for that. But another way is if you're enjoying the show, tell a friend, get them to listen, and we can do that.
We can do something like that.
And listen. I think that's us.
Yeah. That's it. This is I'm doing Papa Rappa, man.
This is this. Foot on the gas.
Foot on the gas. Oh, my penis has got stuck in the door.
No, that's not the same thing. That is not the same thing.
Why is Papa Rappa became a meme all of a sudden?
I don't know. I really, really don't know.
It's almost as bad as the Twilight and Mordecai fucking shipping. It apparently started like 9 years ago. It's like, what?
Meme culture, man. It's a whole different animal.
It's also shipping. Anyway, right. Let's start that again. So this has been Who's That Anime? Been your host Colin with my co-host Steve, coming to you through your headphones.
Yep, all through your ear holes.
Or through your ear holes if you've got speakers.
Well, I mean, with headphones, they're still going through your ear holes.
Oh.
I hope.
You might put it through your nostrils. Who knows?
You might do. I mean, unless somebody's got like those cool bone conducting, whatever they're called, the ones you put like underneath your ear, and it uses the vibration to send the signal into your head.
Yeah. I am not entirely sure.
Remember those lollipop things you used to get? Like there was a bass that was an electronic music player, and you would put a lolly in it, and if you bit onto the lolly and push the button, you could hear the song in your head.
Sounds like a man of experience right there.
Yep. Totally a thing I've done.
Totally a thing you've done. It's not just like putting the lolly and just like wrapping the stick in your mouth, and then
it's pretty much the same thing.
Doing the whole Rolf Harris soundboard thing. What do you call it?
Can't do the wobble board.
Wobble board.
But we don't talk about Rolf Harris anymore.
I can't talk about Rolf Harris or Gary Glitter or R. Kelly or Bill Cosby
or Jimmy Savile.
Jimmy Savile, that's another one.
Or Kevin Spacey.
Prince Andrew.
We could be here a while. There are a lot of not cool people, so we should stop.
Johnny Depp. Are we going to talk about Johnny Depp?
I think he's okay. Like, I think he was in an abusive relationship with his wife, and she may have been gaslighting him.
Oh, is that what it was going on with that? All right. I don't know. Can't keep up all of it. Anyway,
no, and nor should you.
Stay safe, folk. Wash your hands. Wear masks.
Don't drink and drive. Don't underage drink. Don't gamble your money away. Fuck banks.
Yeah, fuck banks. Well, banks
what other things was it?
Don't gamble. Drugs. Don't do drugs. Sure, right. We'll throw that one in there too.
Yeah, I mean, don't do that either.
Don't abuse drugs.
Don't abuse drugs, and follow the Lions Lounge on YouTube.
Oh yeah, it's the Lion Grounds where it teaches how to drink.
Yep.
Probably doesn't teach how to take drugs.
No,
Also,
doesn't do that.
I don't think it does. Doesn't teach how
I
to
don't think it
gamble.
does. I mean, I don't. It's not a channel where like it's like, oh, hey, I'm a drug dealer and I'm going to teach you how to make these drug cocktails that I've seen in movies.
Yeah. Why not? I think that
It's
would
like
be.
on this week, it's that Minority Report one that basically looks like sort of asthma medication. You put it in your mouth and you go.
You should totally start a YouTube channel.
A YouTube channel that teaches you how to make designer drugs. I imagine that would stay up for a long time, and I wouldn't get in any trouble at all.
You might not. As long as,
I might not, but
uh,
let's be honest here, Colin. We know what would happen.
instantaneous ban, and then cops have phoned on you.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, we were ending this podcast
10 minutes ago.
10 minutes ago. Okay,
See you later, guys.
bye, folks.
Bye.